$1,200 fourth stimulus check update, economic impact payment EIP, $1,200 monthly checks for everyone, monthly UBI checks for $1,200. Here is the compilation of all the UBI programs. These programs also covered in many other states and cities and counties and other locations all across the United States. And this one including people on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, VA, retirement, and many more. We'll also cover who qualifies for this payment. Now, programs like Universal Basic Income, Guaranteed Basic Income, and even monthly stimulus check program. Now, all these are virtually exactly the same thing. However, there are some few minor differences. The proposed $1,200 monthly checks for everyone could have a significant impact. It would provide much needed financial relief to reduce income inequality, stimulate the economy. It's not a permanent fix, but it's important to consider the benefit as well. Now, in order to check out whether you're eligible for the program or not, be sure to check out the details for the UBI programs associated with your state, country, or the residence or your particular region. If the program is active, then be sure to take advantage of it. I have got all the details you need to know right here in this video, so without further ado, let's get right into it. Today in this video, I wanted to clarify the monthly checks for $1,200. Here is the compilation of all the UBI programs. These programs also covered in many other states and cities and counties and other locations all across the United States. Now, these are essentially form of universal basic income, formerly known as UBI stimulus check. Now, this is the means for every citizens or residents of the country to receive monthly payment from the government regardless of their employment and status of their income level. And most importantly, these UBI programs are running nationwide, entire across the nation. Now, programs like Universal Basic Income, Guaranteed Basic Income, and even monthly stimulus check program, now all these are virtually exactly the same thing. However, there are some few minor differences, and today in this video I'll break down all the details. So without further ado, let's jump right into all the details. And most importantly, we'll also cover who qualifies for this payment. So without further ado, let's get right into all the important details. I wanted to give you some of a backstory of the post stimulus check, also known as economic impact payment EIP, which was first issued in the April 2020. It was a one-time payment of $1,200 for most adults and $500 for most of the children. And then right after that, the second stimulus check, also known as the Coronavirus Aid, Relief and Economic Security or CARES Act. This is what CARES Act exactly means. This one was issued in the December 2020, and this CARES Act issued one-time payment of $600 for most of the adults and $300 for most of the children. Then right after that, the third stimulus check, also known as American Rescue Plan Act ARPA, was issued into the month of March 2021, and it was one-time payment of $1,400 for most of the adults and $1,400 for each dependent child. If you take a look at all of this stimulus money, the total amount of stimulus money that has been distributed to Americans is over $1 trillion. Alright guys, so here is the thing. Now, some of the lawmakers are currently in the Congress right now do wanted to start $1,200 UBI programs, and this one sounds pretty good because you know what? The scorching high inflation, the toll of those rising prices, goods and services, even the basic necessities are hard to afford these days. Now guys, before we get into all the details, make sure to subscribe to our channel. How to guys, turn on all the bell notification and do check out other videos from our channel. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Alright guys, so during this very busy and kind of a confusing time, uncertain times, you know what we are currently living through right now, things are changing very rapidly. And you know what, we are wondering what's really out there in form of stimulus money to grab there, what's out there so we can possibly grab the money and take advantage of it. Now again, I'll bring you each and every day most important updates, what's going on in the economy, how it impacts your money, your benefits. And as per the latest details, some of the lawmakers are suggesting that they wanted to start doing this UBI programs as far as $1,200 ongoing every single month, no strings attached. And most importantly, these UBI programs are running nationwide, entire across the nation. So you know what, grabbing your universal universal basic income program benefits becomes very important as these provides the needed stimulus check support across the country. Now honestly this one sounds really good because these days essential things like food, groceries, shelter, housing and things of such kind are getting so much expensive. And you know what, we can probably argue that housing is very expensive, shelter, healthcare, food is very expensive as well. Virtually anything, everything we look at, these things are expensive right now. And by the way, I'm not talking about political sides in any shape or form, but I'm just pointing out the groups. Now there are some lawmakers who are trying to approve the UBI program, $1,200 for every single month for everybody, virtually everybody. And you know what, let me explain their plan, what's behind it, because you know what, you may actually start seeing things happening right before your eyes and you may not even recognize. So ongoing $1,200 monthly checks for adult in the United States who earn $75,000 as an individual or $150,000 as a married couple each and every year. So $1,200 per person as a married couple, so $2,400 per month. Also send out an extra $600 per dependent. Up to 3 dependents will be allowed. So well, again, that could end up giving you tons of stimulus money, lot of stimulus money on a monthly basis, and this can come in really handy in that regards. Some of the states, somebody has also income thresholds below, you know what, they are actually in place right now, $75,000 or $150,000 for married couples. As a result of their ongoing plan, they wanted to set up hundreds of little pilot programs, these UBI programs, all across the country right now. Now remember, these programs are basically little test programs across the country, running across the country. So they wanted to set up these kind of programs and check out how things does go, and does it make any sense to send out any sort of a stimulus check, are they effective, or a long-term help would be much appreciated. And you know what, the beneficiaries of the programs, here is what we have found over the last couple of years. Now here are these programs, these have become very popular and we are continuously seeing all this coming across the country. The programs are basically out there right now, which by the way, there is about hundreds of these programs currently in place which are sending out no strings attached payments, stimulus payment to a lot of people. And these are not limited to just single country, these particular countries, but running in different states all across the country. In fact, you know what, some of these states have multiple programs, multiple UBI programs currently set in place. You know what, here you can see, for example, California has got couple of these programs. You know what, most of these programs, probably 10 or 12 programs going on right here into the California alone. Here you can see South San Francisco, Santa Clara country, and different UBI programs offer different amount of money, different eligibility, different amount of payments going on a monthly basis, on a one-time basis, on a 2-year basis, and things of such kind. And you know what, obviously there are other states which are covering many other UBI programs. You know what, these programs also covered in many other states and cities and counties and other locations all across the United States. Basically, as far as I can see right now from all the details, they are in the process of setting all this ongoing monthly check payments. So we can clearly see from the reports, here are the last couple of years, these programs have become highly effective. People found this UBI programs was really helpful for all these beneficiaries. You can see literally these UBI programs do change out the livelihood of the beneficiaries, and really that's a shock. Now I would have never guessed if somebody gave us $500 per month or $1,000 per month. I mean, in the current hard times, that would really change our lives. That's really helpful. And you know what, since these programs are so much successful, as a result of that, lawmakers wanted to set up hundreds of these pilot UBI programs, little programs that will benefit all those beneficiaries all across the country. And like I'm showing you right now, these programs are running all across the country in the United States, and they wanted to set up more of such programs because you know what, these programs are much successful. We can see from the past data. Now I'll get to more of such programs in a moment, but here you can already see like there are already hundreds of these programs are in place. So let's call it, let's say 2.5 years they have been setting up hundreds of these programs all across the country. You know what, they are also setting up different stages, so the benefits will be distributed in, let's say, 1 year on a monthly basis, also for a defined amount for a year, things of such kind. They are setting up various different UBI programs. And most important thing is, guys, these programs do report most important thing about beneficiaries, what's really going on with the benefits, how the benefits are being utilized, are these benefits benefiting the people across the country. And you know what, the thing is, they are really trying to assess whether sending out help in these particular regions of the United States, how much is it gonna be helpful. Now here's the thing, guys, let's just think logical for a second, because you know what, who doesn't need additional stimulus money at this given moment in time? You know what, through the UBI programs, they are trying to monitor how the beneficiaries are trying to utilize it for buying foods, and basically through the UBI programs, they are trying to assure that there is not much food insecurity in the country. Also finding the better shelter, finding better housing, they might be moving in a better or nicer place. The UBI program, the UBI name alone says universal basic income, so things like food, shelter and housing, these are the primary objective of these programs. Also some secondary things probably, like getting your vehicles repaired, making sure vehicles are safer to drive, also managing your health care, dental coverage, in short, staying healthy and safe. Now when somebody has a very limited income, do they typically spend it? Now I don't know, like $500, let's say. If you go to a dentist every 6 months and then find out that we need a procedure, and that dental procedure will cost thousands of dollars, you know what, a lot of people just bury that dental procedure. Even dental visits become harder because it's incredibly expensive at this time, let alone the basic necessities. How can they afford such expensive things? Also many people don't have insurance coverages, so you know what, these reports are continuously finding that again and again beneficiaries are enrolling in. And you know what, that's the reason why these programs are getting ongoing monthly checks. And you know what, through this UBI programs, many people have improved their financial situations somewhat. Now basically here is the compilation of all the UBI programs which have been offered. Now you can check it, you can pause the video and check for your particular country, state, your particular region. If I'll read out all the details for individual program, then video will become hour long literally. Now guys, remember, all of these programs I'm showing you right now, these programs are onto the state level, so maybe they are distributed onto the state level, or probably onto the country level, or probably in a city level, or probably in a certain region of the country. So that's their limitation, so you'll have to check out the details for each and individual program. You know what, but nationwide these programs, lawmakers wanted to do this, lawmakers would be on nationwide level. In other words, you know what, federal government would be the one distributing these checks, just like we saw in the form of stimulus money, which have basically started in the early 2020 and early 2021, even the second half of the year 2021, where about 38 million households were getting advanced child tax credit payments. Virtually it's the same thing as federal government distributing ongoing monthly checks in the amount of $1,200, and that's what they are talking about. Now as of right now, things are changing rapidly, and you know what, with automation, AI, you know what, artificial intelligence, we continue to see tons of improvements. You know what, people are constantly losing their jobs because the AI is improving, AI is taking over their jobs, and all of a sudden this is going to be pushing a lot of people out of a workforce, and therefore these programs will come in handy. It's inevitable at some point in the country there will be some type of a guaranteed basic income, or UBI, that is universal basic income program, and there's gonna be so much job lost and replaced by robots. In fact, we have heard that in some locations around the country, if you take a look at the fast food restaurants, you know what, they have already using the robots. You know what, in some of the banks they have already utilizing the AI. Literally most of the sectors there will be robot arms, robots, artificial intelligence taking over the jobs, and this is gonna happen all across the country. You know, automation will be the future thing, and these UBI programs, these benefit programs, are firstly would provide much needed financial relief to millions of Americans who are struggling to make their end meet in these hard times. You know what, with the cost of living continuously rising, many people are finding difficult to cover even their basic expenses and healthcare. The $1,200 monthly checks would go a long way in helping meet them certain financial obligations. Moreover, these programs could help to reduce your income inequality. Currently, wealthiest Americans receive disproportionate share of the country's wealth, and so many low-income families struggling to survive by providing a guaranteed monthly income. This would help, and furthermore, these programs would also stimulate the economy when people really need it the most. In conclusion, the proposed $1,200 monthly checks for everyone could have a significant impact. It would provide much needed financial relief to reduce income inequality, stimulate the economy. While there are certainly potential drawbacks of the program, it's not a permanent fix, but it's important to consider the benefit as well. Now, in order to check out whether you're eligible for the program or not, be sure to check out the details for the UBI programs associated with your state, country, or the residence or your particular region. If the program is active, then be sure to take advantage of it. And these stimulus checks were proven to be helping keeping millions and millions of Americans out of their poverty during the COVID-19 pandemic. Alongside with that, stimulus check helped stimulating the economy by increasing the consumer spending. Stimulus checks have been controversial, with some people arguing that they are not necessary, and while other people argue that they are not enough. Stimulus checks are advances on tax credit, so you can file tax return to claim your money if you didn't get a check. And parents are more likely than non-parents to get more stimulus money from federal government. Now, typically, all those rounds of stimulus check, the amount of the stimulus payment that was distributed was based on the income and filing status. These stimulus payment offered are not taxable income and not subjected to garnishment or any sort of attachment. These payments can be used for paying expenses including rent, food, medical bills, no strings attached. Talking about the fourth stimulus check, the average check was $1,400. There have been some calls for the fourth stimulus check, but as of right now, there is no indication from Congress whether they are considering it or not. There are some reasons why Congress may or may not be considering fourth stimulus check, because you know what? Currently, economy is doing well, unemployment rate is low, and stock market is doing well. Inflation is a concern as of right now, so that's a definite thing. Inflation is at 40 years high. People are worried that fourth stimulus check would make inflation even more worse. But here's the thing, guys. During the rising cost of goods and services, this inflationary period, people actually need more and more help, and that's where people also worry about inflation. Sending out fourth stimulus check could make inflation more worsen. So do let me know what do you think about it, whether you think stimulus check is necessary during this period or not. Just comment down below whether you require stimulus check or not. Talking about the political stance, Democrats and Republicans cannot agree on fourth stimulus check because Democrats want a larger check than Republicans are willing to agree. Now, ultimately, the decision whether or not to provide fourth stimulus check is a political decision. If Congress decide to pass a bill, it would be up to President Biden to sign it into law to issue fourth round of stimulus check. Hope you found this video helpful. Make sure to hit that like, share this video, subscribe to our channel, How To Guys, and this is Kedar from How To Guys signing out.